So which papers should we be using to print our wildlife and nature pictures? Hello, welcome to this Fotospeed video, as always with me, Tim Jones. Now today what we're going to be looking at is which papers we should be using for our wildlife and nature pictures. Now I've picked probably 5 or possibly 6 papers that I kind of go to and kind of use when I'm thinking about printing some wildlife and nature pictures. So hopefully this will give you a good starting point as to which papers you should be using. Now, before we get started, please don't forget to subscribe. Just click that subscribe button in the bottom right there. And also stick around to the end of the video because I have a 15% discount code that will give you a discount on the Fotospeed website for all these lovely papers I'm going to be talking about. Okay, so let's dive in and have a look at some papers and see which papers I kind of go to. Okay, now before we get started and start talking about my first paper choice, I'd like to say I'm not a wildlife and nature photographer. That's not kind of what I do. Now, I print a lot of wildlife pictures through the Fotospeed FS Print Monday competition on Twitter. Now, this gives me a wide variety of pictures that I can go through and have a look at and print as well. So these are kind of the papers I kind of more gravitate towards, shall we say, when I'm thinking about printing wildlife pictures. However, there's no rules. If you're finding a better paper, please use that. Don't kind of think you've got to use these papers I'm talking about today. Now, why are we talking about wildlife pictures? That is because this month in May is Wildlife Month here at Fotospeed. So we've got our competition, our FS Monthly hashtag that you can use on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all our social channels, and submit pictures in of all your wildlife and nature pictures. And for the chance to win a £50 voucher and a print printed by myself of your winning image. Now, me and Sam will do a live announcement of these, probably in the 1st or 2nd week of June, we normally do it. So well worth having a look. So please enter your pictures online now. Okay, then without further ado, let's dive in and have a look at our first paper. Okay. So now my first paper, or my first choice, shall we say, is kind of 2 papers. So I've kind of cheated a little bit here. Now I've got a print on the Photo Smooth Pearl here, but it could actually be also the PF Lustre as well. So these 2 papers, I always say, are kind of in our photo range and are the paper that most people have lying around, kind of an everyday paper. Now they are absolutely fantastic for most subjects, but particularly wildlife pictures. They really hold the colour really nicely. It's got a lovely white point, so everything just pops off the page. And also it holds contrast, the blacks are lovely in it. So a really great paper. So really, why should we look at anything else? The problem is it's a photo paper, should we say. It's a great paper, it looks great, but it's just a little bit thinner. It hasn't got that fine art feel, which is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. It just hasn't got that type of feel. So if we wanted that kind of fine art feel, then we'd have to look at something like our Platinum Baryta, which brings me nicely on to my second paper. Now, as I hinted at in kind of when I was talking about the Photo Smooth Pearl, my second paper is the Platinum Baryta. Again, absolutely fantastic colour because of that Baryta content. We have a beautiful black, so anything with a dark background, like this picture of the goldfish here, then it is really going to make it pop and it's just going to jump off the page at us. So absolutely fantastic. Also, colour images work particularly well on it because of this high white point, this Baryta content. It works absolutely beautifully. Now, obviously, we can't talk about Baryta without talking about black and white images, and it just works so well for black and white. Absolutely perfect. Now, this lovely feel to the paper as well, and the texture in here just really adds to these pictures. So both colour and black and white look absolutely fantastic on Baryta. So again, really kind of worth it. If you've got a strong image with strong contrast and strong kind of colour, or kind of very contrasty black and white, like here we want to pick out the detail in the feathers and things, Baryta is probably the paper for you. Works really nicely. Okay, so let me talk about my third choice. Now my third choice is our Legacy Gloss. Now I use this paper if we've got kind of a golden hour shot, shall we say. So we've got a lot of kind of warmth in the picture, because Legacy is a very warm paper. It feels fantastic as well, I should add. But it's a very warm paper, so it's got kind of a yellowish white point, should we say. And this is because it's got no OBAs in it. If you want to find out more about what OBAs are and things, check out my video on what are OBAs, and I'll put a link up the top there. Now, it works particularly well, like I said, with these golden hour shots or a warmer type of image. Does black and white as well, really well. Just bear in mind, the black and whites will just have that slightly warmer tone to them. But absolutely fantastic paper. It handles colour beautifully as well, especially if it's a warmer type of print. Holds the black points, hold all the detail. It's got a lovely texture and feels absolutely fantastic in hand as well. So well worth looking at and well worth kind of experimenting with, which is the Legacy Gloss. Now, I can't talk about Legacy Gloss without talking about its kind of sister paper, should I say, or brother paper, should I say. Now, and this is the Platinum Cotton. It is basically a cotton-based paper, same as the Legacy Gloss, with no OBAs in, but it's a matte paper. So it really kind of suits those golden hour shots again, but it's really nice. If you've got a slightly flatter image, a little bit like this in tone, more subtle colours going on, the matte papers really lend themselves really nicely to this subject. It holds the black point really nicely as well, like it has in the bird here, this silhouetted bird. So really nice. And because it's a warmer type of paper as well, those warmer type of shots work particularly well. So the Platinum Cotton, absolutely fantastic paper. One of my go-tos, should we say. Okay, now, if we wanted a matte paper, 100% cotton, but we wanted a strong white point in there, a really high white point, so the colours would pop off the page at us, then look no further than the NST Bright White. Absolutely fantastic paper. I've probably said in previous videos, it kind of works with everything, and it is a go-to of mine. It works kind of, like I said, it kind of works with everything. It gives a fantastic black. If anything's a little bit tricky to print, and I'm not kind of finding the Platinum Cotton or the smooth cotton working very well, then the NST Bright White is the paper that we should be looking at and really kind of trying out as well. Absolutely fantastic. It's got a very subtle texture in there as well, so it works beautifully with kind of shallow depth of fields and these bright colours here as well. Works fantastic on black and white as well because of that high white point. So check out my black and white video. I'll put a link up the top here. If you wanted to kind of learn more about what NST Bright White can do for black and white images. But for wildlife, lovely. It's the texture, I think, in here, especially with this subject here, with anything with fur or feathers or kind of a smoothness, it really kind of brings out that detail. Okay, so let's talk about my final choice, which is something a little bit different. And this is a metallic gloss. Now, this was a paper I didn't really use a lot and didn't really think about as much, but for kind of wildlife pictures, especially underwater pictures, it works particularly well. It kind of gives a little bit of a sheen as well if you hold it up to the light and you catch the light in a certain way. You've got this lovely kind of metallic-y feel to it, and it really makes colour stand off the page and really almost, I want to say almost like a neon kind of colour. It really just pops, it just comes off the page at you. Like I said, it wasn't a paper that was really on my radar, shall we say, because I didn't really know what to print on it until I did a little bit of work for a customer of ours, and they picked metallic gloss, and I was thinking, oh, why have you picked that paper? But it suited it perfectly. Now these were big prints and they really just popped off the page, and it's become one of my favorites, to be honest now, and something that I think about. Now it is in our photo range of papers as well, so now it hasn't really got that heavy weight, shall we say, of say the fine art papers. If you wanted something with metallic though, Haarlemühle do their photo rag metallic paper. Hugely expensive but absolutely beautiful, which does have this kind of metallic feel in a photo rag. So absolutely beautiful. So don't discount the metallic papers for your wildlife pictures. Have a look. Really suits though certain kind of subjects. So I probably wouldn't have printed the butterfly picture on this because it probably wouldn't have suited it very well. Underwater pictures, like I said, work really nicely where we've got a strong colour in the background and it's a plain colour as well, not too much going on. But like this here, it just really held the detail and made it pop off the page to us. Now I hope that's been useful and it's given you a few thinking points when thinking about wildlife pictures and which papers we should be using to print. Like I said at the start of the video, there isn't really a right or wrong. It is just kind of what works for you. So have an experiment, buy some test packs, have a pick of some papers like I always say, and then just see which ones work best for you. Now at the start of the video I said there will be a 15% discount code. Now this code is FSYouTube15 and you can use this on photospeed.com to get 15% off Fotospeed papers. And as always, please don't forget to subscribe to the video, click the subscribe button down the bottom. And also don't forget to enter our FS monthly competition on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Just use the hashtag FS monthly. As I said, the theme this month is wildlife and nature, so just enter all your pictures on there and me and Sam will hopefully see you the first or second week of June to pick 3 winners who could win a £50 voucher to use on photospeed.com or Photospeed products and also have a lovely A3 print printed by myself. I hope you enjoyed watching and I will see you next time. Bye bye.